Hi, today I'm going to show you how traditional applications repackaged as a containers can benefit from the containers and vSphere features. Let's start taking a look at my cluster. I have a single cluster here with 3 ESXi hosts. I already provisioned my virtual container host, and inside of that I have this tiny little VM that holds my Docker API. So here is the IP address of my endpoint. Let me try to connect to that. First, I will set up my environment to point to this VCH host. So I don't have to type the IP address of that every time I want to run anything against that. Okay, let's make a test, make sure it's working and responding properly. Yeah, as you can see, I'm now connected to my vSphere integrated container. And well, let's see, I already provisioned my application. Let's see the containers I have here. It's a WordPress image backed by a MySQL database server. As you can see, the names, my app and my DB, it's also matches the VMs I have inside my container host. The first thing I want to show you is how you can expose the container service directly to the internet. So let's inspect my WordPress container that's holding my blog and see if it's exposing IP address that I can reach it directly. Here I have an IP. As you can see, it's different from my API endpoint. Let me try to reach that out. Yes, as you can see, my blog is responding properly directly to the internet. In this demo, I want to show you how DRS and vMotion can also be used within your containers. So here I have my app container. It's running on ES601. Let's put this host on maintenance mode and see what happens. Okay, okay. As expected, the host is evacuating the VMs from it. My app is moving to another host. That's it, it's finished. Let's check where it's running now. Okay, Siemens has been vMotion to ES602. Let's take a look at the application if it make sure it's still working. I will create a new post here. Let's call it after DRS. Seems still running, but let's make sure I can publish that, alright? Refresh the page. Let's, yeah, it has been published. In this demo, let's see how the container behaves in case of a hardware failure. My container VM is now running on ES601. Let's connect to it and simulate a kernel panic error. So the wholesale failure while the container VM is still running. That's the command. Yeah. Right now the host should be failure along with my application. Let's just test that. It's trying to connect. Yeah, and it's failure. Right now the HA should have been recover my VM in another host. Let's see here on the events. Yeah, HA has been restarted my container VM on another host. And it should brought back my application. Yeah, it's available. Let's just make sure it's not cache or something. I wanted to post something new. I just love HA. It enhances your availability a lot. Let's post it and refresh the page to make sure it has been published. And voila. This demo shows how to leverage Docker volumes to persistent data beyond the life cycle of your container. My DB container has been using a Docker volume that I've been creating previously. So let's check its name and how it's working. Let's list all my Docker volumes I have here. So here is DB data. That's the one I'm using. Let's also inspect this DB container to make sure it's using this data, this volume. As you can see, DB data has been mounted inside the container at var lib MySQL. Talking about MySQL, I want to be running the latest and greatest version of it. Uh, Let's check. What is the version it's running right now? Uh-oh, it's version 5.5. I want to upgrade that. First thing first, let's stop this container from running. In vCenter, we will stop the container VM as well. Let's check. Give it a second to run. It might be here. As you can see, it has been stopped. Cool. Now, let's get rid of that. I don't need it anymore. Remember, my data is stored on the B data, not on the container. So the container VM has been deleted as well. And what about my application? What happens to that? Wow, as expected, no database connection. Let's go back to here and now create my new container. I will give it a name, my DB, it's fine. Also, I will specify the volumes I want the DB data to be mounted to the container at var lib MySQL. Since there's already data in there, I need to specify some variables like my password to connect to the database. It has been used a secure password, as you can see. And also, what is the database name that has been stored on this Docker volume? I want my container to be running as a daemon, and I'm gonna get the MySQL image. As you can see, my DB container VM has been created in the center. It's starting up right now. Yes, as you can see by the ID, it's a brand new container. Let's check if my SQL has been upgraded. What's the version of running that? Yes, and my container is now running version 5.7 of the MySQL. So let's go back to the application and let's see if the connection has been restored. And it has. As you can see, my old posts are still there. Let's create a new one to make sure it's working. It's the easiest upgrade ever. Let, let's publish that. Refresh the screen as you've been doing this demo. And yeah, new posts and old posters are there.